Your feedback. You can leave it on the table here before you leave. And also tomorrow we have a satsang on essence of Gita at Dr. Bahal's house. And if anybody's interested, they are welcome to come. It's at 6 p.m. This is the 6 p.m. at Dr. Bahal's residence, and it's Essence of Gita. We'll be talking about Essence of Gita from 6 to 7:30. So anybody want to come, this is a flyer here, and the address is also written here. So you can write the address whoever wants to come. I'll just keep it here before you go, while going. Okay, so we will...
Holistic question.
So please try to fill your comments. It's very important to us. Okay. So now we'll start with the next session. We talked all from the morning till now. That we have to really look what we are doing, and we should have some goals. But then, what are the measures? What do we really look at ourselves in the mirror? So I think I will request Shailesh to see how we can reflect our mirror.
Please put the lights off. We are just ending towards the end of our day for today, and I can see the few people have left also, that's why. So if you can please get them in for this last few minutes. Whatever knowledge, understanding, aims, tasks, whatever I have at hand, unless I organize myself from within and without, I may not be able to achieve the best. And especially in today's time, when we are all short of time, too many things, I think this goes a long way. How really I plan my day, with what perspectives, what aims, what goals, outside and inside. How really do I plan my day? And how I reflect back and evaluate also how it has gone. So is it fine? Should I go ahead?
Yes.
So looking in a mirror, that's to say my day, from what perspectives I want to look at my day, how I have passed. Is it a mechanical life? Get up, get ready, rush to job, count how many I have won today, eat, drink, sleep. Most of the times this goes on for all of us, and at the end I feel, oh, I have done great job, gone to job, work these many hours, and fine. But is that all what really I am looking at? I wish to have a meaningful living with purpose and awareness, as we have been saying throughout. So my planning and perspective has to be with this perspective, whatever comes my way, but it has to be with this purpose. And I wish to achieve at different levels. That also we have seen throughout the day. Breaths are important and time is vital. It's said that human form is a very precious asset. But when can it be said to be a precious asset? If I can use it appropriately. Otherwise, it just goes waste. So if I look at my day, it may be different for everybody. But these are my concepts of looking at my day. Better to get up at fixed schedule time, because my body's biorhythm gets set by that. And I have observed with my body that whatever time it goes to bed, it may be fatigued, the previous day may be having very long hours. But as long as I tell him that okay, we have to get up without alarm clock, it gets a bright dot on time. Usually in India I get up at 4:30. And even in USA, that's fine. So most of the times I feel that I need to tell my bioengineer, my biocomputer, as Dr. Jeff is saying, that okay, we need to get up at the fix or early in the morning. Why early in the morning? Here I see the people, curtains are there, everything is there, sun doesn't bother you, and you are not bothered whether it is 12 afternoon or whatever it is. Fine, I don't know whether, I just get scared that what would happen to my body's biorhythm, my habits and other things if I get into that. So why I try to get up early in the morning? Because of two reasons. Number one, before my worldly duties and worldly other things start, I want to have my own time, maybe 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, during which I can be with myself, I can organize myself from within, without, even whatever constructive I want to do, maybe writing book, maybe reading something higher. This is the best time for me before really I get into the rut of the worldly duties and obligations and living. Second, very important concept, especially in India, I don't know, here the times are different because sometimes the sunset and sunrise are different. But for us, the early morning atmosphere is little more serene and you can be better with yourself rather than afternoon or evening times. So I want to make use of that serene atmosphere to achieve the higher purposes or to be with myself. And the third important aspect, once the world is woken up, suppose Dr. Jeff is thinking of me or I am thinking of him, the vibrations go to and fro. So he will be reminded of me or I will be reminded of him. But before the world is awake, this is my time where no vibrations are really coming to me and I can be as quiet as possible. So with these 3-4 scientific reasons, I try to get up. And believe me, body has been so cooperative. Even with 3-4 hours sleep, it doesn't complain, really. Whether I have gone to bed at 12 night, 11 night, whatever, it just wakes up at 4:35. Sometimes I talk to Shailesh, do you want to still lie down? You had gone to bed too late yesterday night. No, I'm fine. Okay, then get up. So that's how the things move on. Now, I wish to use time for myself, that is mind and soul or spiritual purpose. Pray, meditate, whatever one likes. With me, as I said, there are simple things like Tri Mantra, going to higher state of beings, 9 codes which we have already seen, be with self or observe. Various experiments I do differently with myself, but the basic is organized within and without. So my conscious energy, I want to get organized. And as he was rightly saying, actually what happens is when we get locked up into mind or something, it's my energy which is getting locked up, my I which is getting locked up somewhere. And I is not only the word, actually it takes energy with it, it gives experiences. So it's very, very important where my I is dwelling, at which plane of understanding it is living. Right? Yoga or whatever exercises you like to have, that's none of my preference to suggest that do this or do that, but some time for body and other exercises also, and by the time I'm ready for my day to go with the other routines. So as the day goes on, it is being lived in 2 parts, living on outer side, as I said, on a professional, familial, social, other personal aspects or interactive aspects, and as I said, keeping in mind goals or understanding in each area. What really I am working for as a doctor, am I working only for gaining more and more money, or am I working for being helpful to somebody? And the visionaries say that if my main intention is to help somebody, anywhere name, fame, money is going to come my way. But if it is made my main production or main intent, I will not be having inner thing with inner income or inner gain. So if my main intent is correct, my main motive is correct, rest of the things may come effortlessly along with in a better way, I would say. I have been finding that. As I said, obliging nature, happiness, shop, main product and byproduct, and inner living, of course, with a possible conscious awareness of what are my intents or motives in each act of mine. And I believe that intents or motives are more important than the actions. Action may be same for different people, but what makes them different is their inner self by intent or motive wise. And inner issues, anger, greed, pride, opinions, beliefs, we have already talked, I may be watchful to them. and I am observer or knower and seer of the mind, speech and body, as I have already said, relative and real, both work parallelly together. So purpose, we have already seen that, okay, so inner awakened state, I already talked that I try to live by 5 precepts and leading me to blissful state of being, ever increasing bliss as the days are passing, and the purification of this relative part, whatever is there. And as it is getting more and more purified, I am getting more and more higher or lighter, and I hardly find difference with different people. I'm nearing to experience oneness with all, and self-talk, as he rightly mentioned. Here what is happening is, because we have been blessed with this, the inner prajna, enlightened wisdom, continuously alarms us, self-talks to us, Shailesh, this is good for you, you should not be doing this, please do this way, please keep your, something like that. So that self-talk is, and caring for outer time and inner time. What I mean by outer time and inner time is, I have 2 times. Relative time, that is when Shailesh is in the dealings, and I am trying to use Shailesh's time also appropriately, maybe in different phases of life. When I am in USA, also I am trying to use the relative time in the best possible way, trying to visit different centers, trying to meet the people, and best possible whatever organized. But my inner time, all the time, is my inner time. That throughout the day I have been talking to you, but inside I am trying to remain as I am the knower and seer or the pure self. So everybody has 2 times, outer time or with an interactive dealings or with a society or different phases, and inside with you your own time. People are driving and people can use the time listening to some inspiring things, listening to some devotional music, whatever they. So people have the strategy to use both the times, waiting at airport, traveling, long travels, whatever it may be. But if I'm careful, I can use both of my times very well. So ultimately I want to measure my day, how I am living. And as we see, how I have lived as a person, how I have lived as a husband, how I have lived as a wife, whatever way, it is not to be segregated, it's just vision, it falls into one. Okay, how I have done on different fronts relatively, and inside, whether I have been able to stay with the inner awakened state and seeing the mistakes and trying to clean the time. People say that we don't have spare time and we are much loaded with different tasks, and US I have been often hearing that we don't have time at all. And Saturday, Sunday, whatever time is there, we are left out with laundries and vacuum, whatever. But I believe that this argument of no spare time is really very ill-founded. It really depends on what is your understanding, priority, or what really you want. And if you want it, if you really want it, I think you always have the time. And I heard sometime that give the work to the most busy person because he only can do the work. The other people will not finish it because he tries how to do it best in an organized way. So, spare time and various tools. At the end of the day, as I see, I will have an inner review, neutrally seeing myself, how my days have gone. They have gone, and if there are any mistake, so observe, step back. I'll step back, see, choose response based on understanding, and I'll just see and correct my mistakes. So solution is to any confusing, or as the lady was asking, locked in situation, if one can be given some time to get away from that in one or other way, observe, step back and see, recognize the mistake and effect on others, view in light of changed understanding, cleansing process and resolution not to repeat. So that's my way of going. I don't know whether it may be your way. I do not even expect it to be your way. But as he said, if there is some light, some usefulness into that, one can pick that up and get going. So with that, our presentation and other part is over. We have in mind, if you all agree and if you're ready, we have 10 minutes experiment, we can have another 10 minute different experiment. And this experiment is to clean my mental baggages, as he was rightly saying. What type of baggages do I have? Most common. I may have some relational ties with somebody. No sooner I'm reminded and my mind may get annoyed, hatred or rivalry, or I may have bad interactions with somebody and that opinions is still bothering me, or that confrontations or whatever. So if I step back and see and just see their pure self and either forgive them or either understand that that has been the past and let me not live with the past. See, after all, how to get rid of opinion? So because my intellect needs some resolving answer. So one good key is, as we say, the rose has a good flower but has a thorn. If I look at a thorn, my opinion will be bad. If I ignore thorn and look at the rose, my opinion will be positive. So seemingly, if I try to say, when my intellect says he's a bad person, he's a bad guy, he did this and that, okay, fine. But after all, he may have some virtue. He may be helping sometime, he may be caring sometime, even though bad with you. So after all, he or she is a good person. That's how I can turn it around. And if not, at least I get back, okay, I can forgive. Okay, fine, let me forgive. Forgive for what? Somebody was asking, what happens to my egoism? The egoism which is bothering to me, I don't want it to be with me. I don't want the thorn in my bed. So I want to transform it. So even for my self-interest, when I forgive, at least I am free of my mental baggages. And that takes me much higher. And believe me, it is, who is strong? One who forgives or one who goes for revenge? Decide your way. So, this some events in the life may be there with us as a mental baggage. So if you agree, if you feel like we can spare 18 minutes just to get rid of that. First step, as soon as we will recognize that this is a baggage, it will start going off. Believe me, without doing anything. It's something like that. Some thief has entered the house. As soon as the thief knows that the owner is snoring, the thief will be there. But no sooner there is some voice, the thief realizes the owner is awake and thief goes away. So just recognizing it also does a lot of job, and then it required, as I said, we can have the pratikramana, mental clearing process of forgiving whatever thing. So that's what I put in my slide, how to get rid of inner clashes from within me or mental baggage or whatever I'm carrying with me. So should we do that for 10 minutes? Okay. So we'll do for 10 minutes and then we are open for panel. Okay? So we'll do for 10 minutes that. O pure self within me, give me the inner strength to neutrally observe whatever mental baggages, adverse opinions, or confrontations I had with others, whatever bad memories are bothering me, to just observe it and do the repentance for it, or at least forgive them. Judge. It was one guiding sentence from the enlightened ones that I beg pardon from all the beings to whom I may have hurt. All the beings, please forgive me, and I forgive all the beings for whatever it has occurred to me. I have no animosity towards anybody, and I am friendly to one and all. Jai Satchidanand. So this is here I end my formal roles and I hand it over to Rajni Bhai.
Thank you very much. We would like to also share the experience. Anybody wants to share the experience, but with that also, I would request our panelists to please come forward and please sit in the front there so anybody can ask questions.
So this will be both panel discussion as well as feedbacks from the audience as well as speakers and everybody. This is heart-to-heart session.
Before that, anybody want to share the baggage you were able to, not specific, but any help in getting any baggage out and feel better in the last 10 minutes? Shit.
You know I was going to say something.
Yeah, you've been great in going internally and externally.
Maybe this is my day. This is going to be difficult for me to ask, so y'all should converse with me. I try to ask this very difficult question.
We're ready.
My heart is beating too fast. It's not so much that I cannot, what's the word? I'm scared to say it. I cannot express the knowledge of my baggage when I look around in my life and I don't see anybody, but I did say what he said, Lord, you know, whatever I have against people. But one thing keeps coming to my mind that could be holding me back from doing a lot of things that I want to do. And maybe I chose this audience because I don't see too much common that I have on a daily basis. I don't run into you. But I have something important that I'm trying to say. And it is, I'm not too sure what I'm supposed to do as I'm trying to get along my daily life is for the knowledge of, hey, I don't know if I can say this. Oh my gosh. The knowledge of, am I being recorded? It's not. I don't know if I want to say it. Okay, I'm going to go. Okay. The result, the knowledge of slavery. Okay, I'll go on. And its continual results, the continued results. Now you speak to this from a professional angle, but I still have to say what is coming up with me. I'm struggling. The continued results of the prejudices that I see as an African American woman. Because I don't know if I'm more affected by the stains of knowing about it. I don't know if I should walk away from the ability to see it on a daily basis, or should I just ignore it until it corrects itself and don't carry the cares and to see, or just wait for all these things to go away? Or for me today, I want to be carefree and happy, but I feel in my heart that I need to speak to the outcry of such things, even like this Trayvon Martin thing, and the deaf ear of those of us who can hear it. But in this room, I feel like this way of your teaching is the ultimate of peace. And yet, the way of peace, I don't see how a revolution is not going on when I hear death cries. And when I see things like this, I'm wondering, this is the kind of teaching that will make us act when situations come and force themselves in our faces. Like situations like this, none of us ask for things to be televised, but me, as an African-American woman, I'm tortured on a daily basis by knowing this, watching on the TV. This is probably not right for me to say this, but where else can I express this pain? I don't want to know about these kind of things. I don't want to see it. I don't want to feel it. I don't know how to interpret it. I cannot make it go away. I look at my cousins and my nephews, and I don't know how to feel this peace and still know what I know and experience this.
Which of the panelists? Okay, everybody will take a time?
Yeah, sure.
And also,
Oh, you bring up a wonderful, wonderful topic. And I'm probably the right person to be talking to you. We live in a physical world of duality. There are many prejudices and biases. There's all kinds of prejudice. In your particular situation, you expressed, I think, very, very well, your pain from the things that you've seen in the treatment of black people throughout time, as well as today, as well as toward people that you care about. One of the things that I believe would help you in your healing is to recognize that evil does exist in this world, and it is directed at many different people. My heritage is Jewish. My people were slaves for hundreds of years. Millions of my distant relatives were killed in the Holocaust. My father was a prisoner in the concentration camps. You know what? You can look throughout all of history. There's wars going on all the time. There's prejudices. You can choose to focus in on what's been done, or you can choose to look for, what can I do? What can I do to represent, whether it's my people, my religion, my nationality, my color, what can I do to be an example that might help to influence the stereotypes that exist in other people's minds? You have many choices before you, and you can hang on to the damage and the pain, or you can choose to move into becoming your best self and being an example to your relatives, to your friends, to other people, so that they can, let's just say, see hope. See that if you're capable of presenting your best and moving beyond things that have been done, maybe so can they. I harbor absolutely no ill feeling toward the perpetrators, because I know that they were acting in ignorance. I know that there's a lot of ignorance in this world. And I know that if I choose to hang on to a hurt, I'm helping to perpetuate the ignorance. I don't choose to do that. And I hope that you don't either.
My perspective is, we can't change the world, some of these things that go on, but like was discussed today, we only have control on ourselves. And I know that from my own personal journey with many, many issues in life, I think what works for me, and that's me, is a lot of prayer. And I mean, I don't sit and pray in my temple alone. Some of you you're all invited, but you come to my house tomorrow, you will see I have a beautiful shrine. Yeah, that gives me a lot of peace just entering there. But more than that, what I take from there goes with me throughout the day. Swami Vivekananda, who I quoted in my talk today, was an ontologist, as well as Adi Shankara, and I believe Dada Bhagwan. They all were people who were self-realized souls, and this is what they taught us, inner strength. But it doesn't happen overnight. So wherever you are in your journey, and I'm not saying I'm there either, I mean, it just is a continuous journey which goes as far as some religions believe, like through many, many lives. So how can we expect to get where we should be in this life? Maybe we'll make some progress, but it won't end. So, but in terms of, like they call it a very powerful word, experience and feedback from God, or anubhav, you start feeling it once you get there. You start praying and the results come. It's not like you have to wait for that for lifetimes. God has his ways of communicating with you, his or hers, if you worship God and Divine Mother. Either way, when that happens, a lot of strength comes. Let me share a quick example. I was in India, and you probably all heard of that very bad rape case. I found myself really taunted by it, like tormented by it. I felt like, how could anybody do that to somebody's girl, some woman, and what happened to her was horrible. And I was there when they were discussing it. I, just thought about it so much, contemplated on it, and I found my mind going there again and again, that I wish I could find those people and beat them up or whatever in my own way. But then finally, what helped me was the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. That's what they're going to talk about in my house tomorrow, Essence of Bhagavad Gita, and that's my favorite book, which I carry with me all in my purse as well as work and everywhere. And our Guruji, our spiritual master, told us to recite to chapter 12 and know it by heart, which all of our Guru, Ben and Bhai too are here, they do it. So, with that, what happens is you start developing strength. And I'm not saying that Bhagavad Gita alone, it could be anything else. But whatever Lord Krishna teaches there, it's the soul that is permanent. So then I started to think whatever happened to that young lady was happening to her body. Of course, the parents must have found it very hard, and my heart goes out to those people. But still, remember, it was a physical body. The soul or the real self within is free from all this. So having this kind of knowledge helps you cope with your daily, problems and like your relationships. Like, you can even have difficulties with your parents sometimes, even as older people like me, difficulties in opinions and all that. But this is how, like, I learned a lot today, that you accept them. From their viewpoint, they're okay. From our viewpoint, we're not. So the struggle is still within, and we have to continue to, like, develop it. And as I gave that example of Lord Krishna sitting as the driver, you heard the word driver today, in the chariot, and the 4 horses are pulling us. And those 4 horses are bhakti, the different paths. I won't go into that now. But anyway, each one of them helps us. And we practice each one of them every day. It's not like we have to sit in a temple to do it. I go to work and I start my day with a prayer, and then I say, God, help me in every facet. And then in between, when there's a problem, I again go back to God and say, please help me again. So, it's like he never gets tired, and neither should we. So, thank you.
Well, a very practical, real situation. Whatever we have talked is from within, but that doesn't mean that I'm out of the world I'm into. I always talked of both the viewpoints, relative and real. So relative viewpoint, if I'm seeing something which is not really good or hurting somebody, my duty is to try to solve it if I can, to the extent possible. And when would I be able to do it in the best way? When I am strengthened, empowered from within, enough to keep myself steady first and then help it out. And there are approaches of non-violence and violence, and we are not going into details. But my say is, this, whatever we talk today, does not mean that be inactive in a relative living. No. Whatever my duty says me, at whatever phase, I'll be doing that. That's very clear. I hope I'm clear, right? And within me, I will understand what's happening. So that's what the concept we put, that in a circumstantial evidence basis, the things which are happening by scientific circumstantial evidences, I should try my best, with best of my abilities, care and caution, and then see what the nature has to do. And once the nature brings some result, I should understand within myself that whatever is happening is according to the natural regulatory system. But I must try to my best to alleviate it or to correct it or whatever abilities, understanding, whatever I have. But my way of doing it will be sort of non-violent or bringing the people together. In short, I would try to drive the darkness away by the light. I hope I'm clear. But during this process, if I am not able to resolve my inner self, unnecessarily I'll keep on suffering without outside any good happening. I don't want to do that with me. Keeping myself stable, I would try all the possible things outside. I hope I'm clear.
Indeed.
Right?
See, there are some social problems connected. But principally, if you are not violent from inside, there is nobody on this earth who can bother you. But if there is even a tinge of violence, I cannot expect nature. I'm not saying people, but nature cannot hurt me. But if there is a tinge of violence also, I will be hurt from anywhere, either from individuals or from the nature. Say for example, in tsunami so many people died. Whom do you blame? No one. You say it's a natural calamity. But when socially anything happens, we blame people, we blame society, we blame those. See, here where you have to understand, principle is perfect. If there is nothing wrong inside, outside it cannot happen. So it is very easy to get carried away what happens socially. But that doesn't mean every individual has to think from his angle, what goes on in my mind, what do I do? Because world is my reflection. And not that those people have not come in the society in the forefront. They have made big contribution to the society also. And they have been respected also. So we have to see both the sides. I hope that answers your question.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
But
Yes, I mean,
But the force going with me, see today you are experiencing something different, right? Something divine. So try to increase it so much that the effect of the other things go away, and you also will be instrumental in helping out the situation as a whole. And as she said, by both by actions as well as by prayers. Because our hearty prayers go to nature, and nature works based on our feedbacks also. So employ both the mechanisms.
one thing I can add to that, my own experience, I've learned in adversity, look at the positive and move on forward. In 70s, I was, in 1970s I'm talking about, I was put in a management position. Guess how many minorities were at that time in management position? Not too many. I had to survive. And the only thing I decided, I can only survive not by others' opinion, but my own hard work. And my own hard work cleared all the different prejudices or whatever people had away, and I ended up with a 34-year career in one company. I hope that helps out. That's my personal experience. There is a question, it'll be in Gujarati, you'll have to translate it.
Sure.
Now, I am watching Roots. The movie is about violence in slavery, and I do understand your pain, and I do agree with the pain also. Thank you. I had to take a break to watch the Roots because there are series of videos. Now we have seen 4, and I couldn't watch that anymore because there's so much violence in that.
I understood her question being white, black woman, how she feels, right? It was the question, how she feels as a black woman? Yeah, so it is, and how she's treated. how she's treated is she's treated bad because of being black woman now, then of course you deal best as you can. But at night, the pratikraman, that was the idea, that was. And as a self-esteem, that how you feel, that again, self-talk, that we have long sessions, that will have to improve your sense of self.
So next question.
Sorry, sorry કે હું ઇંગ્લિશમાં નથી બોલતો.
કઈ વાંધો નહીં.
મારો પ્રશ્ન હતો ને પેલા એ બે વ્યક્તિઓ છે એવું રોવર્સ છે બે જણા ને એકને એક રોજ સવારે ખાય છે દૂધની દવાઓ બીજો નથી ખાતો પણ તોય પણ બે જણાનું જમવાનું સરખું હોય છે પણ એક રોજ બીજો નથી ખાતો તે એને કેન્સર થાય છે દવાથી પેલા કહ્યું એટલે દવા ખા કે છે દવા ખાધી તો એને કેન્સર થયું તો વોટ ઇઝ ધેટ ડ્યુ ટુ ધેટ કે મરી ગયું
દવાથી થયું કે
આયુષ્યક્રમથી નથી માનતો
ના એટલે ફૂડથી થયું તમે ફૂડની વાત કરતા હતા
ફૂડથી કે પેલા એને કહ્યું અને સવારે હું રોજ આ ખાઉં છું દવા તો તું આ ખા તને સારું થશે તો એ પેલા શરૂ કરી એ રાય કેન્સર થયું આયુષ્યક્રમનું નથી કહેતો
ના પણ એને દવાથી જ થયું કેન્સર એવો એક એવો પ્રશ્ન છે પાછો.
હા.
So his question is something like this, that there are two people who are taking something, say food or something, and one person gets some disease and the other person doesn't get. Or he also is saying that one person asked to take another person some medicine and that fellow got the cancer. So how do we explain that? That's his question. If you just answer that. So the same thing working differently for both. That's the, I think the
Okay.
crux
Well,
of the story.
that's, I will speak in English and you can explain.
Sure.
Yeah, this is a very important question. A lot of people, when they are first diagnosed with something like cancer, heart disease, anything incurable, they say, why me? Why did it happen to me? I mean, there's just so many variables. Like, if you really look at them, I was supposed to teach a course which didn't make it, but it was called Living to be 100, 16 psychosocial characteristics. Food was just one of them. So, I mean, there's so many factors, your stress, your emotional status, how your body reacts to it, that we could never say on why one person behaves or responds in one way versus the other. So these are issues that even science is struggling with, and we don't have the answers yet. But one thing is for sure, that as you learned in today's seminar throughout, I would like to ditto what Dr. Shailesh Mehta and others have said, and Dr. Jeff Powell, that it's how you react to a situation, moment by moment, day by day, is going to make a huge difference. I mean, one person may get a cancer diagnosis and say, oh no, me, forget it, I'm going to die. Another person will say, I'm going to fight it, and we know of a person like that, who said that, I'm going to survive, I'm going to beat this. So right there is what we do and how we respond. But as far as the body, human body, it's so complex. And this is where God is great, and of course, Jesus Christ was regarded as an ultimate healer. I believe a lot in his teachings too, and in Methodist Hospital, there's a beautiful statue of him with a woman bowing down, and it's my routine. Every day I go, I walk around, touch his feet, and somehow I feel good. So I mean, it's the healing power is everywhere around us. We need to harness it, we need to use it. It's within you also. So no matter what, the healing will occur if you make an effort. Of course, you may not see the results right away. But as far as the response of the body, I'm afraid no scientist will be able to tell you on what exactly caused the cancer. And usually people are taught not to say that. Like, I test my students based on that question. It's a risk factor, not a cause. There's a difference. We have many risk factors. There's no cause. Cause only, somebody who knows much more than us, that's the inner power knows. So thank you. And
Whatever, add or say anything.
It's really quite simple. One person's trash is another person's treasure. The answers that you're looking for can only come from within you. That doesn't mean we should only look within. We should look to doctors, to books, to websites, whatever sources can provide some information, knowledge, and guidance. Ultimately, we have to make it ours. We have to accept the personal responsibility for choosing how we're going to think about it and what actions we're going to take. It isn't a one-size-fits-all world, and you're very correct. You could take the same situation, 10 people would see it in 10 different ways or be affected. That's life. Take personal responsibility for discovering what works for you, not just about food or medicine or treatment, what works for you and what doesn't work for you in all ways. And that's part of the way in which we create self. I'm not going to say any more because I've got other people here.
એમણે જે કહ્યું એનું ગુજરાતી કરી દઉં છું અને એમણે ડૉક્ટર સરોજે કહ્યું કે આ ઘણા બધા કારણોથી એક વસ્તુ બને છે અને એમાં ફૂડ કે કઈ વસ્તુ એક કારણ છે, મુખ્ય કારણ નથી. કોઈ સાયન્ટિસ્ટ એવું નહીં કહી શકે કે આનાથી જ આ થયું છે, એવું કોઈ રિસર્ચ થયું નથી. રિસ્ક ફેક્ટર છે એવું કહી શકાય કે ભાઈ સ્મોકિંગથી કેન્સર થવાનું રિસ્ક વધે છે, સમથિંગ લાઈક ધેટ. પણ નોબડી કેન સે કે આનાથી જ થાય છે, એટલે સમથિંગ. અને ડૉક્ટર જેફે એવું કહ્યું કે એક જણને જેમાં સ્ટ્રેસ થાય છે એ બીજાને આનંદ પણ આપે છે. એટલે એક જ જાતની પરિસ્થિતિમાં 10 જણ હોય તો 10 જુદી રીતે રિસ્પોન્ડ અને રિએક્ટ કરે છે, અને દેટ ઇઝ વોટ ઇઝ મેકિંગ ધ ડિફરન્સ. એટલે તો બરોબર છે કે આપણે I'm just talking in Gujarati and I'm speaking English also because I have to do the dual job. The other is saying two very pertinent things: scientific, circumstantial evidences. And there are so many evidences from gross to subtle. So any particular thing is no more than one evidence. And it is sum total of so many evidences which we say variable in terms of science. But another very good thing the Vitragas told is, when can you control and modify infinite number of scientific circumstantial evidences? In fact, it is better to get out and control your response to it rather than controlling n number of scientific circumstantial evidences. Of course, do attend to them, but ultimately, એટલે કે આટલા બધા લાખો સંયોગોને તમે ક્યારે ખસેડીને ધ્યાન રાખવા પડશો, તમે ખસીને એની જોડે કેવી રીતે રહેવું શીખી શકે છે. જય શ્રી.
See, we already know the fact in principle. In any situation, if you want to find out whose fault it is, one who suffers is his fault. And finally, a stage comes wherein I can see people straight one to one. I will be able to see the cause due to which the result comes to be. Understand? પછી કાકા ખબર પડી? કારણ વગર કાર્ય નથી. કારણ વગર કાર્ય નથી. એટલે જેમની દ્રષ્ટિ પારદર્શક થઈ એમને બધું દેખાઈ જાય. ભગવાનને કાનમાં રાખ્યું એમને દેખાઈ ગયું.
દવાઓ જે રિસર્ચ થાય છે તે લેબોરેટરીમાં ટેસ્ટ કરે છે, પછી બાયોલોજીકલ ટેસ્ટ કરે છે.
બધા ટેસ્ટિંગ નથી થતા. બધા ટેસ્ટિંગ નથી થતા. હું તમને રિપોર્ટ મોકલી કારણ કે આ બધું બહુ વાંચ્યું. ઓકે, નેક્સ્ટ.
Rajnibai, if anything is there, otherwise. જયશ્રીબેન નો ક્વેશ્ચન છે.
I think what I'm going to ask is universal at this time for our generation, for our children, coming grandchildren. To me, I mean, I understand what we talk about, I think about it, but the way I see it, maybe that everything boils down to money and power. If you have money, you have both. And if you don't have it, especially new generation, they think they can't survive, they can't make it to the top. What they want to do, they can't do it. They won't put their point across if they don't have money, they don't have power. Of course, money will bring power, and if you have power, money is going to help you. So how do you, first of all, not your children or anybody, but yourself, I mean, you know that, yeah, it's all just the material, but still, you sit out there, you stand out there in the crowd, you go out for a job, or you go out as a teacher for your for an interview, or you want to put your point across. Everybody's gonna look at you, how she looks, what she's wearing, where she's living, what she does, what her. See, that's the first thing. She just does this, you know. So what does she know? So how do you, I mean, come to the point where accept that no, it's not about material, it's not about money, it's not about power. It's so hard not to think that, oh no, no matter what you have, it's much, much more valuable than that actual money and power. And how do you put it forward to the people who, for those, everything is about material? I think it's
I don't think it's about trying to change other people, at least not at first. There is a lot of truth in what you say, that in our world, there's an old saying, it must go back centuries, maybe millennia, that politics and economics makes the world go round. Economic, money, politics meaning power. And there is a lot of truth in that. There is a lot of truth. But is that the whole truth? No, not even close. And you saw examples when, I forget which slide, like talking about like a Mother Teresa, or a Gandhi, or a Martin Luther King, or Abraham Lincoln. And I could give you hundreds of examples. You mentioned Jesus. When I think of the various mental paradigms, the various ways of existing and being that have continued through centuries to have impact on us as a human experiment, almost none of them were people of great wealth or of great power. I think the place to begin is with self. And do you believe, what are your beliefs, and work on your beliefs. I know for a fact, anyone, and I've worked with people who are blind, people in wheelchairs, I know for a fact that the human spirit, the pure self, the pure soul, when you start to activate on a human and on a spiritual level, I'm not sure that there are hardly any limits at all. And until you personally experience how far a person, meaning yourself, can go, you're not in a position to try to educate, inform, or change other people. You must begin first to believe from experiential knowledge, not just head, from experiential knowledge. Limitless, the potential, that's why I was talking about the self-talk and all that's encompassed in that. I'm almost done. Because when you really get into co-creating self, you come to realize you have incredible power. You, everyone in here, you have the DNA of the Father within you. You are meant to be a co-creator. Until you experience that, which is the most empowering thing I've seen on this planet for a person to do, until you come to know deep in your soul, the most powerful force in the universe after Almighty God is the power of focused human thought consistently put into action. Until you have lived that and come to know that, you won't be in a position to take on change in others.
I think everything has been said today. I mean, this seminar itself was like the entire focus was on building the self. And I again echo and answering Jayashi's question, I know exactly where she's coming from, because kids, grandkids, they are exposed to the peers first. You come in later, sometimes even the peers have a more powerful influence. But then we have to somehow create an environment at home that offsets that and makes them see that they are still, as he said, the co-creators of their own destiny, and comes into play again, I'll choose one of the words that Dr. Paul used, self-esteem. With the self-esteem needs to be built right in the beginning when children are just growing up at home. And the more we did it, I know in my own personal experience, I can tell you my father was the greatest source of who I am today. I mean, if it wasn't for him, I know I wouldn't be 100 for what I am, because every day there were inspiring stories, and these were told to me in the car. He would be driving me, and suddenly there would be a story, a lecture. And do you think I forgot it? Till today, any story that he told me is there in me. So this is how parents teach, not through going to a temple, not through going to a mission, a society. Those are all external avenues. But the biggest thing is, do you have a person in your life who can influence you? I won't say change, because the change comes from within, so we should use that word. But we can only create that kind of environment. In my slides, I had the obesogenic theory, which means that we are living in an environment that we all are likely to become obese. So who doesn't? The people who make the right choices. I had that too in my slide. So every moment is a moment of choice. I used to watch this beautiful serial at home, and I used to take notes. It was again by my favorite Lord Krishna, and he says, "Har ghadi ek nirnay ki ghadi hai," meaning every moment we are making a choice, every moment, and these moments get together and make a thought, destiny, focused thought, as he said. So the same thing, I'm repeating myself. Thank you.
So we are nearing the closing time, but see, it can take a whole day seminar to talk on wealth or money. I'm leaving that part aside, but I'll just briefly answer two things. For our kids or younger generation, this is the generation of science, and they will ask how, why, for what, when. If the parents do not know that, if they are not living that, how are they going to answer the kids? As I had put in the slide, they don't learn what you tell them to learn, they see and then they learn. So we have a lot of encounter with youngsters, kids, right from any age, 3, 4, 5. And we see that whenever their inquisitiveness is rightly satisfied by giving the scientific approach, today's children are the best assets. They would outright do it. They would not deceive themselves. See, one thing is very good with them, they are not deceptive to their own self. They will say upfront whatever they feel. We were deceptive to our own self. So, but they need a correct scientific approach and explanation, and they need to experience that, as he's saying. Unless we can make them experience the inner asset, forget that they can be on that path. Having said that, second part, as you are saying, there are n number of examples. Money or wealth is a tool and not a goal, that's all.
When you are in Rome, you have to live like home. So, if you have learned the drama, you will never have any kind of problem. If you go to a funeral, you have to wear a funeral dress. And if you go to a marriage, you have to wear a marriage dress. So, that's very simple. Then there will never be any question, no argument, no confusion.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, your panelists, for taking time out, and I know we're ending there, but just give us a few minutes. Thank you very much for coming, sharing all your wealth and knowledge with us. And just today's program, we have two gracious hosts here, And because of that, we were able to do this program. So, Geeta Ben and Prakash Ben, thank you very much for being in the house. And I would request both of you to come and say a couple of words. Prakash Ben?
Hello everybody. This is our second seminar, HSRCF. And last year we had in the temple. I think this year we have decided to do something different and we put it into practice. We can call all the religion, any races, all inclusive, and anybody can come and understand the holistic science. And the founder of holistic science presently, Param Pujya, His Holy Highness Kanu Dadaji, and Vitrag Vignan scientist, holistic sciences, A.M. Patel. And I bow to them. I thank you for accepting your entry in this, Dr. Bahal and Mr. Power. I thank you, all of you, from bottom of my heart, all catering committee, my family members, my friends, Kirit Mehta. There are so many things. Will you let me talk about it? Sure. We have a main center, HSRCF in Oak Ridge, and president is Vasantbhai Patel, and vice president is Dr. Radhe Krishna, and this is South Central, and we are one of them. Houston is the center, and our chairman, our master of ceremony, and Northeastern Center president is Rajni. I thank you from bottom of my heart. Youth speaker Akshay Patel and Purnima Ben, they especially came from India. And Rashid Bhai, Ranjan Ben, Mrudula Ben, Narendra Bhai, all outsiders who came here to enjoy and help us out and to get the knowledge. I really thank you from bottom of my
I have just one sentence that I have prepared to tell you. And Gita, if you would hold this, I can relate. I bow to the God inside each one of you.
Thank you very much. Please give your feedback, and if you want to come, if you want us to come back next year, so please give your feedback. Thank you very much for coming.